Welcome to GBN America. I'm Nana Akua. Wow, what a challenging year it's been for the palace. Last year, after the coronation, apart from the thorns in their side, Harry and Meghan, the royal family appeared to be thriving. The event went without a hitch. The world appeared to come together. The shenanigans of the dastardly duo were like water off a duck's back. Even the dreaded book by Scabies, a name coined by Lady Colin Campbell for Obed Scobie, the author of the flop memoir Endgame, which named Catherine and the King as the alleged royal racist, or as was later clarified by Harry as unconscious bias, was not enough to destroy the spirits of the world's support for the royal family. But not long into this year, Catherine and the King had more in common than the book. On the same day and to the same hospital, both underwent surgery and both were later diagnosed with cancer. The King shielded his daughter-in-law as she underwent treatment. The world went mad and idiots on social media and many celebrities started concocting conspiracy theories as to Catherine's whereabouts. We all now know she was having chemotherapy and we all respect that she deserves privacy. But what of the monarchy now, with its two star players out of action? Is it time to bring back Prince Andrew? Even though we all agree his association with Jeffrey Epstein is questionable, he hasn't been convicted of anything, though, has he? There's no way Harry and Meghan will be accepted by the British public. There's a lot resting now on the shoulders of Prince William, and we have to protect him. With Kate's soaring popularity, Americans are tuned in with regards to the upsetting cancer diagnosis. But is the news making waves as big as the missing princess mystery? Before the health revelation, digital spaces were buzzing with over 276,000 articles about her, eclipsing even political heavyweights like Biden and Trump, which is during an election year. There's been a whirlwind of reactions across the pond, but how did the latest royals news land in the States? Lee Cohen joins me now. Lee, crikey, God, it has been an incredible week, hasn't it? How has the news of Kate's cancer diagnosis gone down? Or is it still a massive story there?
We last spoke, I think so much has transpired. This was a huge story in America, dominating both our major networks and social media alike. Seeking ratings and likes, some celebrities and social media trolls weighed in disgracefully and appallingly and made inappropriate speculation and cheap gossip. But so while others of us in America were deeply, deeply saddened to learn of the Princess of Wales who was confronting this awful disease. She's truly a bright light in our often dark world, and her family, her country, and the whole world need her, and we pray for her full recovery.
And of course, I second that sentiment absolutely. How has the news of the cancer diagnosis actually landed, though, with a lot of the American people? Because I'm wondering whether it has actually increased her popularity and whether people are literally talking about it all the time. Because in this country, it's a huge story, obviously.
Well, I wrote a piece in the Telegraph this weekend actually apologizing on behalf of many of the despicable celebrities and hosts seeking cheap shots at the Princess of Wales' expense. I apologize for them thinking they never would. But to my great astonishment, some actually have, and I suspect it's because they were experiencing a blow to their own popularity.
A lot of them probably won't, though, because a lot of them probably often on social media know how it is. If you say sorry, then they'll come for you even more. So a lot of them are probably, a lot of them, it might be their brand to be that way. So that's the thing. What about the spread of disinformation, though? Because this was, I thought, quite unprecedented that people were talking about an AI Kate and all this. I mean, I personally thought the whole thing was ludicrous. To me, it was just clearly a couple of errors with some photoshopping, and that was it in a video, and clearly there's something wrong. But how have the government responded?
Well, I haven't actually seen the government respond, but, the missing princess saga generated significant interest and investment from a derelict sector of the American public who were drawn to the vilest gossip and human drama surrounding what turned out to be, as you know, a very sad situation for the beloved princess. Some of us watched in horror as many Americans seem swept away by palace intrigue, as though, Nana, this were nothing but another episode of The Crown. And it
Yeah.
was all the more mortifying, of course, when Princess Catherine made her statement last week.
Yeah, and I think that you make a good point there, that people have kind of disassociated the royals from being human beings because of the crown. And I think, as you know, it's not just the crown's fault, but I think because of things like the crown, people don't see them as living beings now because in their minds they are a reality show that isn't real. And this is really real, what's happening here. What about Harry and Meghan? Because we know that they found out at the same time everybody else did.
Yes, well, I think the fact that they found out at the same time everyone else did is emblematic of their status and in the royal household and the royal family's feeling that they can't be trusted, as we know they can't be trusted. And what a horrible time to even give them the possibility of doing any harm when everyone is just heartsick over both the king and the princess's news, though we're hopeful that both will recover.
Well, I thought the message was interesting because the Harry and Meghan message was about offering health and healing, but then it felt like there was a dig about the privacy that they need. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a bit about giving them the privacy that they deserve and all this. And I just thought, I could almost hear Meghan saying, like you gave us, unlike the privacy you gave us, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, it so underlines the difference between celebrity and public servant, and truly admired public servant as the working royals are, versus Meghan and Harry have become nothing but celebrity influencers, and in the United States, most people can't even make the distinction. So that I think gives rise to what you've just underlined.
And you know what? They had everything. It's almost as though they didn't see that the shiny gold glistening thing would eventually become, distorted and it actually wouldn't survive. Whereas the longevity of the monarchy, which is what they are both part of, is something that, is to be cherished and looked after and enjoyed and respected. What about Donald Trump? He's not. He's obviously said that with regard to Harry, that if there are any inconsistencies in what Harry has said, there would be trouble ahead for Harry.
Well, Trump's reactions to Harry and Meghan are spot on. Trump respects Britain and its institutions, especially the monarchy, and as he expressed, he had great affection for the late Queen Elizabeth. And like many of us Americans, he's outraged, Nana, at the attacks against Prince Harry's family and country that the acid couple in Montecito, the failed royals turned celebrity influencers, continue to inflict.
And you know what, as well, you are right that it does suggest that earlier when you said that the fact that they weren't told about it beforehand suggests the monarchy don't trust them. And it feels like nobody does. But then the monarchy's really dwindling. So in your view, do you think it might now be time to potentially resurrect Prince Andrew? Because although his association with Epstein is, nobody even wants to talk about it because it's so horrendous, the fact is he wasn't charged with anything, was he? So he's not really guilty of anything, according to the court of law.
And no, indeed. But what I really think is it's time to focus on really valuable and admirable members of the family, like the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward, and the Princess Royal, and the Duchess of Edinburgh. So because all of them are really, and certainly Queen Camilla herself, all of them are really carrying the torch forward in the most admirable way. And I think we've got, these really terrific examples. So let's praise them and let's put them center.
And finally, Lee, are you surprised by the reaction from the rest of the world with their sort of outpouring of love for Kate? And do you think that has actually strengthened the monarchy?
I'm not at all surprised because as I said earlier in the interview, when you asked me, Kate is a shining light in a often gloomy world and made even more gloomy by the social controls that have this everyone in their thrall. I'm not at all surprised. Kate seems to be so beloved and has not put a foot wrong, and is exactly the kind of image that I think the royal family will carry forward to their great benefit and to their continuity, which is, what everything is all about. It's not about necessarily the people, but it's about carrying forth the mandate of this very important constitutional pillar of British society.
Lee Cohen, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Really good to talk to you. That's Lee Cohen. Well, that was Lee Cohen there giving us the US perspective on the latest news about Kate and the Sussexes and the Trump feud. Now joining me is the wonderful lady Colin Campbell to talk about how the rest of the royal family has been affected by Kate's diagnosis. I mean, it's such sad news. So what does the future look like for William during this tough time? Lady C, this is just terrible news, isn't it?
Well, actually, Nana, it's not great news, but it's much better than it could have been, because if I've been speaking to doctors about this, and when you have surgery, cancer is usually very visible. So the mere fact that it wasn't that it wasn't visibly obvious during the surgery, and that it only became apparent during the histology tests, shows that indeed it was very, very early and very, very optimistic. And she's really very lucky that she had the underlying condition which caused her to have surgery. Otherwise, they'd never have known. And as she herself said, she is well. I mean, that implies that they have caught everything. And she did make the point it was preventative. So, preventative chemotherapy means they're just making sure there are no free radicals floating around anywhere. So they're doing a mopping up exercise. So I think, it's not great news, but insofar as bad news is on the scale of 1 to 10, it's 1.
Yeah, I just get really, you just get concerned because the King and Catherine are the star players, obviously two of the main star players in the royal family. Do you remember, was it 1992 when the Queen called the year Annus Horribilis? It feels like we're back there again.
Well, I think to an extent you're right, because, so much that's untoward has gone on. I mean, not only in terms of Harry and Meghan and their followers' antics, but also, the health issues. But, I mean, I understand that, William and Catherine are coping as positively and as well as they can. They're both very level-headed people. They're not drama queens like Harry and Meghan, and they're not going to make a drama into a crisis. And they're going to be coping with this in as measured and sensible a way as possible. And I understand from people in the medical profession that she is actually the ideal patient, because she's very positive, she's very intelligent, she's very dispassionate. She's not creating a drama and a crisis where there's no need to. And she's evidently very amenable. So, and she's very fit. She's very athletic. So that's all to the good.
Well, and she's in very good hands as well. She's in very good hands. And obviously her mother seems to be a very strong force keeping the whole family together.
Well, yes. I mean, there's a great deal of respect and affection between the King and Queen and Prince and Princess of Wales. I mean, they have become tighter than it was ever foreseeable or possible. And they're almost a unit, and each of them functions in keeping with the best interests of not only the monarchy, but the best interests of each other's personal interests, because they all they're all very decent, family orientated, loving people who want everything to go as well as it can. They're very positive, the four of them.
Yeah.
And there's that's the ideal scenario. So, and all this adversity, and not only the health issues now, but all of the problems with Harry and Meghan have brought them all closer together.
Well, of course, Charles was talking about a slimmed down monarchy, and now that is literally what we're seeing. And I think we probably do need a full fat version, really. So who's left to sort of, who do you think's left to carry the candle and get on with the job?
I don't think that Charles actually realised when he was putting the monarchy on a diet that he was going to end up making it anorexic.
Very good. I love that.
But, I think you'll find that with the passage of time, Beatrice especially, and Eugenie to a point, will be doing more, which is as it ought to be. They're actually very good girls. They're very good at what they do. They have been doing public duties very quietly. I mean, for instance, during the Queen's Jubilee, Beatrice hosted an event that I was at, in lieu of the Queen. So, I mean, this was when the Queen was alive. But I think you'll see that there has to be somebody stepping up. Otherwise, there's just going to be too much of a dearth of people available.
Well, there could have been Harry and Meghan. Oh, God help us. I mean, even there.
No possibility, Meghan. No possibility. My understanding is that not one of the four participants of whom we have been speaking has any interest whatsoever in ever interacting with Harry or Meghan in an official capacity ever again. And that even if Charles were inclined, and Camilla would go along with Charles, to have some private rapprochement with Harry, there is no way any of them is going to want an official role for either Harry or Meghan. They understand that would be drinking poison from a chalice that they can well avoid drinking from.
I bet they probably regret, like Harry and Meghan, probably looking at this thinking, oh, we could have actually been part of this. But because I think that Meghan was annoyed that she felt she was playing second fiddle to Catherine and, she wasn't marrying the person who would be in line to the throne. So I think she was disappointed with the position she was now in. I think that they must be regretting walking away. Do you think that they're regretting walking away and in the way they have now, seeing the things unfolding?
Oh, that's an interesting observation, Nana. I actually don't think Meghan is capable of regret. She isn't capable. Her personality type is not that of somebody who learns from their mistakes. She blames everybody else for her errors, and she's tried every trick in the book to keep herself absolved of all responsibility. No, I think her anger. I've been told that she is enraged by the situation because no matter what she does, it flops. And no matter what Catherine does, even when she does nothing, it succeeds. And I mean, that's infuriating for her.
That must be.
No, you see, it wasn't only about the position, it was about the money. And Meghan came into the royal family with the expectation that she'll be able to milk those others as if they were the fatted calf, and that she was going to be able to end up having a billionaire lifestyle. But she has a billionaire lifestyle without the money, and they're quickly running into serious problems financially.
Well, they would.
Every deal collapses and, all these phantasmagoric figures that they were banding about will never reach their bank account. And she's not capable of learning a lesson, which is tragic because, but for her personal character and personality flaws, she would have now been the most popular human being on earth. Catherine wouldn't be. Had she played with a straight bat, she would have knocked Catherine for a 6, instead of which Catherine has knocked her for a 6. That's my take.
Without doing anything either, because Catherine is lovely, and Meghan, I don't know why she thought that that she'd drawn the short straw. Meghan had a brilliant straw, because the fact is she didn't have to be the person up front, so you can sort of go under the radar and get absolutely everything without the pressure of it. But they walked away. That's their own fault. Finally, though, Lady C, what would you say to a lot of those conspiracy theorists who came out with a load of nonsense about they made such a meal over the picture, and then they thought that some people were saying that Catherine was AI in the video? I mean, it was absurd.
Well, I thought it was insanity in action, but it also sells newspapers. It causes clicks. It's all about that element of the media making money for itself. And my understanding is that an awful lot of the speculation and the mischief making can be traced directly back to California. And people in, the TMZ, etc., were being briefed on a very naughty basis, let's put it that way.
Well, how do you know all this, Lady C? How do you know all this?
Well, darling, if I told you how I have ever been able to come by my information, you and everybody else would be able to do it instead of me. And sorry.
That's a good point, Lady C.
The position I do, Nana, I'm not prepared to share it even with somebody I like as much as you. Sorry.
Lady Colin Campbell, thank you so much. It's lovely to talk to you. That is the brilliant Lady Colin Campbell. She knows everything. Well, the unusual uproar surrounding Kate Gate has spread worldwide, and you all know it gained attention in the United States. Television talk shows have devoted segments to the story, and A-list celebrities have hinted at it on social media, sometimes facing criticism from their fans or fans of the royal family. Even the college basketball world took a moment to report to digest Kate Middleton's cancer announcement on Friday, with CBS interrupting its March Madness NCAA tournament coverage to bring the news to fans. Eric Nagel, host of It's Eric Nagel on iHeart podcasts, joins me now to dive in deeper to how celebrities have gotten themselves on the wrong side of royal fans. So joining me now on GBN America is Eric Nagel from the iHeart podcast. Eric Nagel, thank you very much for joining me. So, look, there's been a lot going on, especially with the pictures of Kate. There's lots of celebrities who've managed to sort of step in the fray. Kim Kardashian is one of them. She sent out a post with her on my way to find Kate leaning on a car. What's going on? And I know she's had backlash from it.
It's weird. Celebrities that are active on social media can't respond quick enough to try to marry themselves into some sort of cause, protest, awareness, whatever's going on. It's all thinking like it's a strategic PR move. And then, most haven't even posted anything about Kate up until now that she's revealed that she's had cancer. But while she's missing, why isn't the British royal family talking about her? We haven't seen her in a while. A lot of them didn't even bother posting, but now they're hopping on like, look, I did a good thing. I'm sending my condolences to her and her family because of pretty terrible news that she had to reveal to the public. Look, Kim's is like the best at putting stuff out there and getting attention for herself. So she was jumping on something that was trending, but she did it terribly. Like, it's not because it was, it was later revealed what was going on with Kate with her medical condition, but it was just because it was lazy and poorly thought out. Like, she's in a posh outfit, leaning on an expensive car, and she goes, I'm looking for Kate. it had nothing to do with what she was trying to associate herself with. It just came off looking really bad.
Mm. She's had quite a bit of backlash from her followers. But the post is still up. Is she not going to take it down and apologise like a lot of the others?
I don't think there's a need for her to apologize, because of what she was doing at the time was like, Kate's missing. She's going to go find Kate. Now that what it's revealed, she wasn't mocking Kate. She wasn't mocking, her condition, the family, any of that stuff. So I really don't see a need for her to take it down. And it gets people talking about her, because that's what the Kardashians do, is get people talking about them, all eyes on them, buying their stuff, watching their show. So there's no need really for her to apologize for this. I don't think she'll ever take it down.
Well, I think she should, actually, and I think there is need for her to do it. It's really distasteful. Now she knows the full extent of what's happening. You'd think that she would think, maybe I'll take that down. It's not really nice. The reason Kate was out of action is because she was going through chemotherapy. So I think it is pretty tasteless, and I don't know why she thinks it's a good idea. What about Blake Lively? She entered the whole thing as well with on her Instagram.
Well, even that too, because during the time period that she posted that mock photo for her soda and her alcohol line, Betty Buzz, it was obviously an attempt at mocking the poor Photoshop that was put out there by the royal family as an official press release. Like, if anything, they deserve to be mocked for how terrible that photo and that Photoshop job was. And they were. Every news outlet, entertainment outlet there was all making fun of that. Again, not making fun of Kate's reveal of having cancer. This was mocking something they put out, almost like the public would be dumb enough to believe this kind of half-ass attempt at a cover-up. Look, they're a public family, but they're not like a celebrity public family. They're paid by your government and paid by the people of the UK. They have a right to know what the hell's going on. So they should have just taken the step like they did with Charles and get ahead of it and said, hey, look, here's what's going on. We'll reveal more as we know. But as right now, we ask for, privacy for the family. But here's what's happening. She's at home right now. We'll talk about her later. They didn't do that. So that terrible Photoshop deserved to have been mocked. Blake took it down. I know she apologized. She's avoiding, any kind of backlash from social media. And also she's like best friends with Taylor Swift, as we found out during this past football season, that she's trying to avoid the Swifties too, because they're known for everything that they preach about being tolerant and kind to people, everything. They're kind of the worst online. They're out there to mock, to bully, to destroy people's lives. If you go against anything that they think is what you should be thinking, anything to do with Taylor and anything associated with Taylor. Blake's associated with Taylor, so she was probably avoiding all that too.
Well, so at least Blake had the wherewithal to take it down. I think, or apologise anyway, which I think was the right thing to do, especially given given what's happened. Anybody who thinks it's not the right thing to do, I think, is a little bit. I don't know. It's not going to rub people up the right way. The world is literally talking about Kate. And, of course, Andy Cohen shared that tweet after the video came out with Kate and William at the farm shop.
Right. Saying that I don't think it's Kate. To be honest, at that point, after the terrible Photoshop, a lot of people didn't think that was Kate. With the way, I'm not saying it was AI, but the way everybody thinks now, the way things are put together with CGI, AI, all of that stuff online, people thought it was maybe old footage from a different time that they were purposely trying to put out, saying, no, look, she's walking around with William in a farmer's market, which you never get that kind of up close and raw look at them doing something that common. And so people are putting it out there. It's like, I don't think that's her. Andy Cohen, no different. And he's another one. He's not going to apologize. He made his money by hiring really terrible, awful people doing really terrible, awful things. So this just falls in suit with the Andy Cohen brand.
Well, it may fall in suit, but let's hope a lot of his followers look at that and think, yeah, come on, at least, dude, now you know the truth, apologise and just move on. We like this, it shows some humility, but I guess if that's his brand, he wants to carry on with that. That is down to him.
He'll never apologize. He's of that world where it's an old wrestling adage, controversy causes cash. And that's what it is. It means money. It means attention for everything that he's doing. He doesn't have the best reputation, but he doesn't care. He's laughing all the way to the bank.
What are your thoughts on it? What do you think? Do you think that some of these people should apologise, or do you think, look, it's fair enough, she's a global personality, and so she's fair game?
That whole family has been ridiculed and mocked for decades. I'm not saying that this is any different in the sense of her reveal and Charles's reveal that they have cancer. But again, the Photoshop is still fair play because it was a really terrible attempt at them trying to dupe the public, keep them in the dark with what was really going on, instead of just putting a little thing out there. And this whole thing could have been avoided, just saying, hey, look, she's home. She had a medical procedure. We'll reveal more when the family's ready to disclose. They didn't do that. They did everything wrong with this. Up until when she makes her reveal of her diagnosis, everything else is still fair play here. And the fact that people were making fun of the Photoshop, they're not going to apologize. I don't think they should apologize. You should be allowed to make fun of that stuff. But I to be honest, I haven't seen anybody mocking Kate or Charles for having cancer. Yeah. So, I mean, at least we're making some kind of progress in this world.
Well, listen, Eric Nagel, good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your thoughts on all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana.
Well, that was Eric Nagel there for the latest royal news from GBN America. Just go to gbnews.com/America. I'm Nana Akua.